I am continuing in my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am continuing reading in a chronological order, according to event, not according to publication or volume, so I'm skipping around a bit as I move along. I am going to step outside of my schedule for just a moment. See, I was planning on doing the entire Doctrine and Covenants altogether because it has some historical information in it, but it is usually just kind of sprinkled in there with other things to kind of give us some context to the revelations. Like when it gives us the ages of the ancient patriarchs when they were ordained to the Melchizedek priesthood. That is listed to show the descent of priesthood, how it started with Adam and was passed down. So, yeah, that's historical information, but it's not presented as historical narrative. That's my point. But I was reviewing some of, especially the early sections, and there is one that is presented as a historical narrative. And so now we are going to read that before I continue with my reading, because if I had realized it at the time, this actually should have been way back with the end of the Gospels. So I'm going to insert it here, because we've been talking about John's death, and this deals with John. So we are now going to read Doctrine and Covenants, section 7. Now the section heading says, Revelation given to Joseph Smith the prophet and Oliver Cowdery at Harmony, Pennsylvania, April 1829, when they inquired through the Urim and Thummim as to whether John, the beloved disciple, tarried in the flesh or had died. The revelation is a translated version of the record made on parchment by John and hidden up by himself, as recorded in History of the Church, Volume 1, pages 35 and 36. Now, before we read the section itself, note, this is a translation of a record written on parchment that John had hid up. It is not part of the Gospel of John. It is part of a secret record, a hidden record that John deposited somewhere, and Joseph Smith is receiving this through the Urim and Thummim. This is much like the Book of Moses or the rest of the Joseph Smith translation, but it is not part of the Joseph Smith translation. It is something else. So now let us read. The Lord said unto me, John, my beloved, what desirest thou? For if you shall ask what you will, it shall be granted unto you. And I said unto him, Lord, give unto me power over death, that I may live and bring souls unto thee. And the Lord said unto me, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, because thou desirest this, thou shalt tarry until I come in my glory, and shalt prophesy before nations, kindreds, tongues, and people. And for this cause the Lord said unto Peter, If I will that he tarry till I come, what is that to thee? For he desired of me that he might bring souls unto me, but thou desirest that thou mightest speedily come unto me in my kingdom. I say unto thee, Peter, this was a good desire. But my beloved has desired that he might do more, or a greater work yet among men than what he has before done. Yea, he has undertaken a greater work. Therefore I will make him as flaming fire and a ministering angel. He shall minister for those who shall be heirs of salvation who dwell on the earth. And I will make thee to minister for him and for thy brother James. And unto you three I will give this power and the keys of this ministry until I come. Verily I say unto you, ye shall both have according to your desires, for ye both joy in that which ye have desired. Recall that with the 12 Nephite disciples, 9 of them had the same desire as Peter, that they may come swiftly to the kingdom of God. 3 of them had the same desire as John, that they may have power over death, that they may tarry and bring people to salvation. Also note this is written from John's perspective. John is writing this. This is a translation. This is presented very differently than any other revelation of the Doctrine and Covenants. This is presented as a translation of something that John wrote. We have a similar account to this at the end of the Gospel of John, but in that it does not directly state that John was to tarry. It has Peter ask, what about this disciple? What about John? And Christ says, what is it to you if I say he can tarry? And it specifically says there, this was the reason why the saying went abroad that John would not die. But then he says, but it was not said. But he did not say that he would not die, only what is it to thee if he tarry? And in that, John is being purposely vague in the Gospel of John. He's not saying that he was going to stay, he wasn't going to die, but he didn't say he would die. He leaves it ambiguous in the gospel, because that's the public record. That's the record that he sends out to all the people to be read in all the congregations, and what could be read by the antagonists of the church, the enemies of the church. This is a sacred record that he writes and then hides up. We don't have this record. This record, what we have, was given by vision and revelation from God. And clearly John wrote another record that has more detail, has a more complete telling of the life of Christ, and probably of his own life. He probably has his own travels, the Acts of John. But there was enough in it that was too sacred for public viewing. And so he wrote the record, and much like the sealed portion of the Book of Mormon, he wrote it and hid it. And it will come, the rest of John's record will come out, will be made manifest sometime in the last days, along with the sealed portion of the Book of Mormon and the record of the lost tribes. But I'm going to leave that there, and I will see you in the next one.